children, the hour of our victory is at hand. For upon this world of Aiur shall we incorporate the strongest known species into our fold. Then shall we be the greatest of creation's children. We shall be perfect. Yet before I can be made manifest upon this world, the way must be prepared. You must seize the Kidaran crystals, for within them lies power undreamed of by the Protoss. Go now, my Cerebrate. Secure the crystals and bring swift wrath to all who oppose the swarm.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Starcraft. This time we are playing the 9th Zerg mission, Invasion of Aiur. And we are finally landing on the Protoss homeworld, and the Overmind has explained what we're intending to do here. I'm not too sure how the Overmind's intending to do it, because I believe it's written into the Protoss canon that the Zerg are immune to infestation. Sorry, the Protoss are immune to infestation. So they can't do to the Protoss what they did to Kerrigan. However, obviously the Overmind thinks that there must be a way to do it, otherwise he wouldn't have made this journey. But then again, there's retconning and all sorts of stuff that goes on in the past. Anyway, I've got some Zerglings. I'm going to upgrade them. And certainly the beginning of this mission is going to be an exercise in why you do not just use one unit composition, because I'm going to show how things can go completely wrong if you do such a thing. Since I've got the mineral start, you start with 750 minerals and gas. I'm going to get my unit structures down quickly so that I can begin morphing in my units. Again, there's no real need to go for a lair this early. It's like the yeah, not really a hugely clever thing to do to go for a lair that early, but I suppose that once I've got an extractor and everything up, there won't be much of an issue. I could build a second Evo chamber. I think that will probably be fine, but I get to upgrade my Hydras really quickly and get +1 attack, etc., and we can get things motoring. However, this isn't a mission that we're going to be able to rush. You can see the size of the map. There's no way that we can rush this. We've basically got to take out the Protoss piece by piece and work from there. First thing I've got to do is figure out an expansion point, because we're definitely not going to be able to win this mission on one base. I believe this is the first time ever that the Zerg have that anyone has invaded Aiur. And what makes it doubly weird is that you'd think the Protoss would have more colonies than just Aiur, but for some reason it seems like the Protoss are a race that are in decline. So therefore they had a golden age of expansion and they don't have it anymore, as it were. They seem to be almost content with being stuck on Aiur, which I think is weird, considering they have all the space technology and everything like that. The Protoss are very enigmatic overall. You're not really sure which way they're jumping in one way or another, really, but that's just the way it is. This is going to be the longest of all my Zerg videos, I believe. This is definitely the longest mission, because we have to... The Kidaran crystal, I think, takes 10 minutes to mine, and during that time you are getting constantly attacked. But there's going to be quite a lot of action, shall we say, in this mission. We're going to reach a point where it starts and then it doesn't stop. But the thing that we're going to be using for the most part, we are going to be using, yep, you guessed it, Muta Guardian. However, I am going to be using Ling Hydra early on, because I don't think we're going to have the economy to get to Muta Guardian before we just run out of resources and are incapable of attacking our opponent. So that's gas being mined now. Gas, gas, gas. And that will get us a decent start. There's plenty of resources all over the map, but as usual, the first and second expansions are the most important, and that's where the main crux of any of these missions come from. Still, Spire. And yeah, plus one missile's probably where I want to be now. There we go. And more drones, more drones. I think we're going to want to go for Hive fairly. Don't really necessarily need to go for Hive at this point. We can just produce some units, then go for Hive. I think that would probably be a bit more efficient. It is very tempting just to go for it right from the start, but I think that would be a little bit too rushed. Okay, well that Protoss attack happened.
We require more Vespene gas.
Oh yeah. I think what I'll look to do, obviously by the time that I've had everything on the board, I will just end up going Ultralisk. But yeah, I'll go Ultralisk on the ground and Mutaguardian in the air, but that's obviously like the super late game. And we'll just build a creep colony down here to block off any sort of Protoss attacks. They don't really come at you very hard, but it's always useful to have some static defences around because we are just going to have a humongous push at some point. So, right, let's build a Queen's Nest, or are we going to go for a +1? Let's get a sunken colony done. I don't think that the is it saturated now? I think it's fully saturated now. It's hard to gauge sometimes. It really depends how far away you're. It really depends how far away you're. Yeah, we need the Queen's Nest for that. It really depends how far away your hatchery is from the extractor, how many drones you need to saturate it. But the important thing, you basically just want constant production coming out of it like you're seeing now, and you want that, and you don't want queuing. So it looks like we've got that pretty much bang on there. So that was 5 drones doing that, and backup hatchery. Since I have the resources to do so, I'm going to build a second hatchery, and that will help me build that will help me get Hydralisks out quickly. I'm going to go Ling Hydra in the early game, and I'm going to show you why you go Ling Hydra and not just Ling or just Hydra. So we go, producing Lings. You see, I've definitely got the economy. It's almost impossible not to have the economy to support Lings. So that gives me Hive, so let's get that done. So that'll give me the ability to get +3 upgrades. Need an Overlord because I don't have any control at the moment on the map, so that will make things a little bit easier. Also, it'll give me adrenal glands, and if I'm going to use Lings as any form of attack force, I'm going to want adrenal glands, otherwise I'm going to be doing no damage whatsoever. I think adrenal glands increases their attack speed by 50% or something like that. It really is a big boost. You know, you're not talking a small boost here. Overlord, cool. You won't be facing Dark Templar in this mission because of what we did in the last mission. It seemed that they're all trapped on Char at the moment, so we are not going to have to face up to Dark Templar at any point. I believe the Protoss do use Arbiters on this mission, so you can be up against cloaking, but all you do there is destroy the Arbiter, and that's what you are looking to do. Okay, so that is another hatchery down, and we can either produce Lings or Hydras out of that. You know, lings are fine as well. More lings. It's almost impossible to overproduce lings, by the way. I'm going to evolve Burrow because I may need to use that to hide my ling army for as long as I possibly can. And let's get another overlord. And this allows us to build up lings. Also, by producing a lot of lings, you actually get the ability to store up your Vespene gas, which does make a big difference when it comes to transitioning into your muta army. So that's maybe a slightly better use of your resources doing it this way, and obviously the adrenal glands upgrade will make your lings an awful lot more dangerous. And it also means we've got a nice little swarm waiting for all these zealots here. But, you know, as much as Zerglings will do damage on attack, they're still very much a suicide unit. They will not last long at all against pretty much anything. Dragoons will two-shot them. I believe upgraded, if they're 3/3 zealots, they will two-shot Zerglings. You really are up against it. You're not going to get your lings to survive here. I probably should build a second evolution chamber here because I'm going to need both carapace, and if I'm going to throw in hydras with this group, which I should do, then I will definitely need all the upgrades before I do that. I think I'm being greedy going for flying upgrades as well. I think I should actually what I should be doing now is producing hydras, and you'll find out very shortly why I should be producing hydras at this point. So that's adrenal glands sorted as well, so my Zerglings now get a 50% DPS increase pretty much. So they're doing quite nicely. So I have in the past, I have actually managed on this map to take out the first Protoss base using nothing but lings, but this is why you have to be careful. You have to plan your attack first of all, and you have to know exactly what you're attacking, because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So this is a decent, it's not a massive army of lings, but it is a decent army. I could probably get away with, what I could do, I could produce another sort of 12 to 24 Zerglings and just have sort of 60 Zerglings and just go slamming in and seeing if that works. Hint, it probably won't. But what I should be aiming to do now, I mean, this is a mistake of mine for sure, but what I should be looking to do is move to the top right of the map, because that's where the first expansion is. But you can see here, like 2 Dragoons and a Photon Cannon are absolutely wiping these Zergling forces because they fire quickly. Even if they only get 3 or 4 shots off, that's 2 dead Zerglings. And Zerglings only really work in hugely mass numbers. So you can see I'm already down sort of almost half my Zergling force just from taking that. And I end up going the wrong way here. I shouldn't be going down here. This area is way too well defended. It's way too well defended to be trying this. That's a Reaver. Did it not blow up? No, it's coming back. Bang! There go all my Zerglings pretty much at that point. The Reaver Scarab Bomb does really weird things. It's really strange. Additionally, I didn't have full upgrades when I did that, and the thing is, by going just all Zergling like I did there, okay, let's change up to Hydras then. By going all Zergling the way that I did there, that means that all my army is at 1 range. And it's the same here, I'm going to go Hydras and bang, right into the middle of all my Hydras. If I had a Zergling, that's okay. Kill it. There we go. If I had a Zergling force to go with these Hydras, which I should do, if I had a Zergling force to go with these Hydras, the Zerglings would rush up to the front and they would distract all the Reavers and various other things at the front. and that would cause the enemy to be completely and utterly... That would cause Reavers to have to target the Zerglings, which means that the Hydralisk would... Oh god, there's another Reaver there. Oh god, that was perfect, that shot as well. And now that... See what that Zealot did there? What the Zealot did there by running up to my Hydralisks, and because I didn't focus fire the Reaver, a lot of the Hydralisks focused on the Zealot, which took firepower away from the Reaver, and it was able to get a shot in, and that pretty much wiped... You know, this group of Hydralisks is now in like major trouble. Now, yes, of course we've dealt a lot of damage to the... We've done quite a bit of damage to the Protoss base. That's cool, you know. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But the Protoss... We've not got any further in terms of making an expansion. And we've lost, what, 20 Hydralisks in this attack? And we're going to now have to retreat because there's more Zealots keep coming in here, and we're just going to have to pull back. So that's why. So what we're going to do at this point... well, I'm going to do some mutas at this point because I've actually got the economy to do so. But what I'm actually going to do is rebuild this ground army once I lure these Zealots into range of my sunken colonies. What I'm going to do is I'm not save scumming or anything because I haven't done it. But what I'm going to do is rebuild a split army at this point. I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to build Hydralisks and Zerglings. And obviously I've dealt damage to the... obviously I've dealt damage to my opponent already. At this point, but I think he's dealt way more damage to me. Because if you think about it, I lost 36 Zerglings, which is 900 minerals, I think, 36 Zerglings. And I lost 20 Hydralisks, which is 1,500 minerals and 750 gas. So, that's a big time loss. That is a big time loss. There, and I've not got any closer to making an expansion out of this. So, once again, I'm going to back off for a little bit, and then I'm going to go both Hydra and Zergling. Reason for that being that you will see the difference. Now, obviously, my initial pokes in there have actually caused an awful lot of damage. It has caused quite a bit of damage. I've taken out some of their cannons. I've taken out a couple of Reavers, even though the Reavers did ridiculous damage in return. And when I've got the money, I am actually going to also create an Ultralisk Cavern. I could also create an Nidus network. Once I get a second base, I could create the Nidus pond, but I decide probably not to. See, I only had level 2 attack when I did that, so yeah, I think that maybe I could have been a bit more patient with the attack as well. But this is basically what we're now in. We're now in a recovery phase. I'm going to build the Ultralisk Cavern just because I feel like building some Ultralisks later in the game will probably be good. Also, if the Protoss are super heavy on Reavers, I want to have a unit that will survive against Reavers. But as you can see, I have now rebuilt my small army. Still got double ups, and here we go, Reavers and but there you saw it. The Zerglings are at the front. Yeah, they're getting pounded by the Reavers, but because things are getting up close and personal, the Reavers can't get off their ridiculously huge, stupid attack to like destroy 10 Hydralisks with one shot or something like that. So even though I took damage there, that's fine. I can just rebuild that because that was a decent-ish Protoss attack. But there you go. There's 12 Lings right away. So that's not a big deal. I've got the 2 Hydras, and once they're out, I'm actually going to push further out, and I'm going to essentially use the Zerglings as cannon fodder. Because again, I'm not quite at the point where I'm happy producing mutas. Although having said that though, I've still managed to get all the upgrades, and this is one thing that's really strange. I have managed to get all the flying upgrades, despite the fact that I have been constantly producing Hydras and Zerglings pretty much. So You know, because I'm producing these super cheap units, I can just get into the end game without I can get into my flying end game without too much interruption to the upgrades. So I've got the final upgrades there going down. Let's just these. So now I'm going with the split force, and it's basically 24 Zerglings, or like 22 or something like that. 24 Zerglings, 12 Hydras is what I'm going for here. Or am I even just filling the gaps with Zerglings? I honestly don't know here. But I'm going with a split force, which I think will do an awful lot better. So, yep, Zerglings up front, Hydralisks behind them. Hydralisks are a lot quicker now because they've got the... they do have that upgrade. I'm also going for the top right base, which is what I should have been doing straight away. Because there is... This is knowing the map more than anything else. There is a mineral and Vespene patch over here, which is only defended by like a cannon and a couple of other things with it. Yeah, there you go. Pretty big mineral patch. Vespene patch is cool. In fact, it's not defended at all. That's quite good for us. But there is a Citadel of Adun and Cybernetics core down here, so we're going to have to attack. But let's send the Zerglings in first. And what I want is the Zerglings to act as a shield for my Hydralisks. And that's kind of exactly what's happening here. My guys aren't even attacking as a cohesive force at the moment, but I just find it funny how like some Zerglings have been given exactly the same. But there you go, that Reaver only got 2 Zerglings. Now I'm going to get the the Zerglings charge, but the remaining Hydralisk should be... Oh, it got to fire again. Ugh. No, we're okay. I think we're... And, like, these Zerglings are just chilling here. So, can I move... Yeah, I might... Yeah, I'm going to try it. Let's move forward and see if we can take out all of this. Now, my Zerglings haven't got forward again. I need to get those Zerglings forward. Otherwise, my Hydralisks are exposed. Yep, here comes yeah, I don't want that to happen. I don't want Zealots beating up on my Hydralisk. That shouldn't be happening. Okay, it looks like this area is gas mined, but I don't really care at this point. I just want to get, you know, this is the first Protoss base we're looking to get down. We also need that expansion up at the top. That's what I will be doing. And you can actually see how fast, you know, once Zerglings are upgraded, you can actually see how fast they can take down. They can take down. Remember, this is only 24. This is 24 Zerglings or 22 Zerglings and 12 Hydralisks. And look how much more effective it is once the Zerglings actually bother getting here. Look how much more effective it is than like 36 Zerglings or even 24 Hydralisks was. So it's that mixture of army composition that's a big deal. Ooh, they just built a Cybernetics core down here. So let's take that out as well. I don't think it's going to be their only one. I mean, I highly doubt that they're completely unable to build Dragoons now. But then again, you're up against multiple different colours of Protoss at this point. So I'm going to pull back, and we have our expansion now. So let's get an expansion over there. It's taken us a lot longer and a lot more resources than I would have wanted to get to there. But we have, you know, we have what we need, and we've also got all the upgrades now. So that's level 3 carapace going down as well. So we actually have fully upgraded ground units, fully upgraded air units. I can just say it's a very good job that we have a lot of minerals in the first base, because that was a bit of a mess. What I would actually recommend, guys, if you're going to make that attack early in the game, I would just go 36 Zerglings, 12 Hydras. Maybe wait until your upgrades are done and then just go flying, and you should be able to make this push without these sort of humongously stupid losses that I ended up with. Still, we have our expansion in place now, and I don't think that we're going to be too worried about this. But it came, you know, right on time, because look at the amount of minerals that we've not got now. But we do have where that Protoss base was as well to mine out as well. So we should be okay as far as that goes. We only have to morph in Guardians and Mutalisks now. And potentially go Ultralisks if the situation arises. And there we go, expansion down. And really this mission turns into the full example of what happens when you give the Zerg a huge economy. Because this is where we're going now. I'm going to send my forces down here just to reinforce this area. And there's an Ultralisk as well, just for a little bit extra defense. Don't tell me his fat ass is stuck there. No, he's okay. And I'm rallying down to that other base there as well. And I'm borrowing my units just in case. And I've not got enough overlords. I'm supply blocked. Lol. Oh no, my overlords popped out at exactly the same time I wanted to morph all my muters, I see. I've got one incredibly confused drone. Don't quite know what he's looking to do, but hey, there we go. We're almost there. Well, you can see this massive force of Mutalisks I've got up now, so we are almost ready. I did do a pretty big amount of cutting there, as you guys can probably see, but I don't think that you really need to, for the bajillionth time, see me build up an army of Mutalisks and Guardians. And funnily enough, I left this robotics bay here, which could have been very naughty, but I think that I destroyed the facility that lets them actually build Reavers. So that means that I could, that means I was okay with that, but I don't really want the Protoss having vision on me, so let's get going. Hatchery here, and even though that Vespene Geyser is, has been used, it also will produce some, and I think that I'm going to be pretty close to having mined out Vespene gas in like my main at this point. And as you can see, huge amount of Vespene, but don't worry about that. That is because I've been saving up, because I'm going to do a 12-in-1 once we get to 600 minerals. And there you go, 12-in-1. Big old morph. But I think and then we begin our slow death march, as it were. We are going to just march into the Protoss's base and slap them. And since I've got 3/3 upgrades, I'm going to create a few Ultralisks just to act as battering rams, just in case I want to go in on the ground as well. It's unlikely I'll want to go into on the ground as well, but that's just the way things are. You also notice that hatcheries provide one control. One control. This is to make sure that you just build overlords constantly. Right, building up another army of Mutalisks very shortly, but I think that we can send the Guardians out on a little bit of a raiding party very shortly. You can see my economy is pretty good actually. It's coming together really nicely. I like more lings. I'm producing lings like you can't believe down there. Just lings, lings, lings. Hey look, it's something from Babylon 5. Yeah, this is going to end not well for the Protoss, I would imagine. I think the Teal Protoss is already done, but there are two others on the map. And I will have to pretty much annihilate all of them because it's a drone that will carry the Kadaran crystal, so that means you need an absolutely clear path because one Reaver shot will destroy the drone. And we're just removing the last vestiges of the Teal Protoss that caused me so much trouble. And it did cause me a lot of trouble. And the funny thing is that, you think, well, isn't it expensive to produce Ultralisks? It's more expensive to produce Guardians. Especially since they need Mutalisk escort, it is more expensive. Which, to me, is just ridiculous, it's absolutely insane. But So it would actually be cheaper for me to produce 12 Ultralisks and just charge than than do it this way. But I think that this way is a bit more effective. Also, if the opponent has scouts or carriers, you can't beat it with Ultralisks. And also they have Reavers and Templar. Templar, kill the Templar. And they have a carrier. That is a carrier. Mutas take on the scouts and the carrier. The problem is, you can't really tell the Mutalisks to... How can I put this? You have to focus fire the Mutalisks or they will start killing the carrier's interceptors, which is... I mean, it's what we're asking the Mutalisks to do now, which is like run interference for the Guardians, but what actually happens is the Mutalisks and the interceptors end up running interference for the carrier, because you don't end up damaging the carrier. And whoa, that's some Dragoons. I'm losing Guardians here. I mean, not like I can't replace them, but I've managed to get myself in a bit of a dodgy situation here. Get the Mutalisks involved. And I need to take down these starports because Protoss air units are very, very scary. Well, especially if they've got carriers, put it that way. Carriers are a very, very scary, very, very scary thing to have to deal with, and I really don't want to deal with carriers at this point. They are annoying. I think that things are going fairly well at this point. Now, there's a base like this yellow proto... Oh, there's the carrier. It looks like the mutas have got it. But you can see how much damage those carriers can soak up. It's ridiculous. But the thing is, if you... I imagine the Mutalisks have been destroying interceptors, and if a carrier doesn't have interceptors, it's worthless. So it's just one big target if that's the case. So. Let's keep moving in, and down goes this Nexus. But the Protoss yellow, as I said, has two bases like this. They have one at the west and one in the east. So, you know, they're pretty well set up. And that's an Arbiter Tribunal there on the left. That means that the Protoss can build Arbiters. Let's replace some of my Guardians, the 4 that I've lost. My money's getting a little bit high here. I should be creating a few new Mutalisks. I'm just rallying them down here, to tell you the truth. Zealot getting involved and then going, oh god, no! Okay, so that's one down. Also, we can expand down here as well to get our, you know, our economy is already nuts. And look at what one Mutalisk has decided to do, and chased all that lot up. But either way, that will be the end of any shuttle or Reaver-based rubbish coming out from here. That's an observatory down there that allows them to build, funnily enough, observers. Observers are basically just cloaked scouts. They have no weapons, but they are permanently cloaked. And let's take these Dragoons out, and I think that we are done with this side of the map, and we can expand here quite nicely. And we can also... Oh, it looks like I lost another Guardian. I really am careless with my Guardians sometimes. Yep, make another one. And make some more Mutalisks. I could actually make them pretty much everywhere, but I'm going to keep making Ultralisks at this base because, I don't know, I've got a soft spot for Ultras, even though they're probably not the best thing to come out of Starcraft 1. They're just big, dumb. all manner of fun. Teal Protoss apparently still hasn't been eradicated, so let's just make sure that, well, it's not like he can come back, he's got no buildings, no drones, but let it not be said that I'm not completely vindictive. Okay, so that's my Guardian Force rebuilt. I should probably, just for a laugh, I should probably just produce nothing but lings for the rest of this game. Just lings, lings, lings. More Ultralists, there you go. They might be having a little bit of trouble moving at this point. Ling Ultralisk is actually a really fun ground attack thing that you can do as well. Again, the Lings providing the sort of confusion and support more than anything else. But this gives us the opportunity to expand again, and I think at this point, this, as you can see, this level at this point is pretty much over. I don't really need to build any more units, but I probably will. I'm going to just send in my Ultralists just so they can get the idea of what it means to actually do something in this mission. They're not going to do too much because I believe the Protoss have flyers. And also they're trying to get through trees, and obviously trees are a big problem when they're the size of an Ultralisk. And there's stuff on high ground which they can't deal with because I haven't dealt with it properly yet. I'm just going to pull them back just for the hell of it. I should move them, not attack move. When they're attack moving, they will stand and fight, and it looks like I'm going to lose an Ultralist because of that. But it's okay, they can come back here. I'm not really too concerned. Ling's up front, and boy, that Dragoon walked into a bad situation. Yeah, that'll learn you. You'll never do that again, will you? Okay, right, so now we get the Guardians out here. And let's get a bit of movement going. Yeah, expansion. I'm going to have to build 2 hatcheries here, boo-hoo. Really upset about that, obviously. And more drones. And we're doing okay for overlords, but we're definitely going to max out this mission. To be honest, if you really want to play the no greater success than excess game, you can in single player Starcraft. You can just wait until you have 200 supply and just go absolutely ballistic. But there's no real reason to drag it out that long if you don't have to. Because this already takes long enough anyway, due to the fact that you're moving around with Guardians, the map's huge and you're up against an entrenched enemy, so therefore it's just going to take a long time as it is anyway. It's like, who knew that static defences on high ground were actually annoying to deal with? That's what made it difficult for my Ultras, not the stuff that was on the ground. The Ultras would have just mopped everything up, if that was the case. Okay, GG to that, I suppose. And oh, Archon got a bit too close there. Archons do a lot of damage if they get up close. Oh, Psystorm right over the top of my Guardians, but they can take 1. The thing they can't do is take follow-up attacks from Dragoons, though, so might lose a couple here. Don't know why it produced Reavers, but, you know. Maybe that's the way. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh my. Well, yeah, that's why I was saying in the last mission that 2 Psionic Storms is a disaster. But I'm just going to morph an entire group of Mutalisks into Guardians and then just come over here. That's what having all this stuff... that's what having all these expansions is good for, I suppose. Oh god, lost another one. Never mind. Are your cocoons done yet? Oh, here comes the rest of the flying army. I suppose. Bang, there go another load of Guardians. Cool. Cool beans. You are now officially the better group of Guardians. Let's go. So yeah, Psionic Storms, pain in the ass. Who'd have thought? I'm not even sure they were the yellow Protoss who did that. I'm pretty sure that was the orange Protoss who did that. Oh, they walked a High Templar all the way up here in the map and used Psionic Storm. Not very nice. Have to kill them a little bit harder because of it. As I said, we can't infest them, sadly, so it's just going to end up being slapping them, I suppose. Now, it's always good to take an expansion and not build any drones there. Oh, gee. Never mind. So this is going to be yellow Protoss done. Just have a look up here. Ah, yeah, drone's not doing anything. We don't have that. Get down there and start mining. Got mining going on up there. That's cool. Got mining going on there. Mining there. Yep, this looks good. Just take some time while I'm busy wiping out the Protoss to make sure that I've got enough to just completely replace my entire army. Oh look, a carrier. So we're going to focus fire that carrier. And even at 3-3, you know, it's going to take a little while even for this group of Mutalisks to take down a carrier. You know, that's pretty... those carriers are pretty strong, let's just put it that way. Like I said, the only weakness is the fact they need interceptors. But if you get stuff done properly and if you utilize carriers properly, they can be a real pain. You don't need 12 of them, but I might actually do that in a Protoss mission. Just build a 12 carrier force of death and just go that. Just see how it works for me. Okay, so I believe that's the yellow Protoss wiped, and we can actually expand down here as well, should we wish to. Although, you know, I'm doing fairly decently as far as supply goes. I'm not really too worried about needing stuff, but, you know, why not, as the saying goes. And let's keep on keeping on and see if we can... start working some more magic this way. Oh, more drones, good. Gonna put a hatchery down here so that I've got access to the extractor. Said not crisp, not anything like that, but I do follow the, you know, I do very much follow the philosophy of more is better when it comes down to these games. Just more, more, more. And I'm almost at 200 supply now, so... I'm just building myself more gas because that's the one place where I may end up getting slightly I may end up getting slightly behind, I suppose, would be on gas, potentially. So, it's time for us to take a good look at what we're going to be up against shortly. Just more units, more units. So that's where the Kidaran crystal has to be harvested from. So let's see what they've got waiting. And once I get to here, I am going to bring everything I have down here and act as a defensive force. There we go. So let's start mining the Vespene. So we could even expand down here if we wanted to, but that's a little bit of a trap. Okay. Drones. Rally points. Down there. So, yep, I am actually going for... I'm heading towards the Kidaran crystal now. I do have some thoughts in my head about potentially expanding, but I think that that would be... I think that that would be ambitious, to say the least. And there's there's an Arbiter, and that's one of the Arbiter's more annoying abilities. It's Stasis Cell. Basically, when you're stuck in that Stasis Cell, you can't attack, but you can't be... well, you can't attack and you can't be attacked, but you're essentially removed from the fight. So it's... and it lasts for a long time, so... you know, don't anticipate getting out of that. Oh, Mutas, get it!
The crystal is being harvested.
Okay, fortunately you don't have to... right, get out of here. You don't have to defend the drone itself, because the drone has somehow burrowed itself into the Kidaran crystal. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Oh, come on, kill that carrier, please. That carrier desperately needs to die. There we go. And once a carrier dies, its interceptors all die as well, so that's fine. Arbiter again, kill it. Oh, I didn't react in time. I did not react in time. And there you go, I now have everyone rallying to this position, and they're building stuff, lots of stuff. You can see the Arbiter cloak stuff as well. When it's around, it has a cloaking field, so anything that's near it gets cloaked. I believe 2 Arbiters form a complete cloak, but fortunately the AI hasn't got that idea in its head yet. There goes the Arbiter, so now the Scout isn't cloaked anymore, and goodbye. One thing that is hilarious to do is cloaked carriers. That is hysterical. So let's see what we can do about getting everything down here. And I mean everything. Yep. I've got 13 supply to play with, so we've got... yeah, more stuff, get down here. More stuff. Okay, so I'm actually thinking, once that stuff gets down here, I can actually start killing off the purple Protoss. More Ultralisks, yeah. And another base can build 3 Hydras, and we should be okay. It's a rumble! It's a carrier. I think I am going to take out the orange Protoss, you know. So, where are my Guardians?
Our forces are under attack.
Let's get going. Oh, enthusiasm at least. pull them back. Let's see. Yep, just the not much there. And 191. So yeah, some mutas, some hydras, some hydras. Actually, no, just hydras. More hydras. Hydras are quick to build. And there you go, 200, 200. More ultralisks coming down. Yeah, let's take the Guardians and my Mutalisks and let's destroy what's left of the Protoss, and that should actually make all things a little bit more even. Yeah, this place is fairly locked up now, so I'm taking some Overlords down there just in case there's any cloaking issues going on. Don't think there are, but we're just going to keep producing units and units and units. You can see the huge... If you watch the mini-map, you can just see the flood of stuff heading down. I could obviously do what's known as a 300 food push at this point, but or 300 food attack, but no real need. Come on, mutas! Dim-witted, they really are. And now the Guardians can turn their attentions to things on the ground. I want those Stargates down more than anything. Because I do not want any more... There's another carrier. Yeah, the Protoss are pretty much spamming carriers at this point. So there you go. That pylon took out one of the starports. Here goes the Arbiter Tribunal. So no more of that rubbish. And let's get the these starports gone, because I do not want to be fighting against a bucket load of carriers. Yeah, focus fire on the starport. I just want that thing dead. I don't really care if I lose a Guardian or not. I do not want more carriers coming out of that thing. Cool. Is that another starport? And it's producing wonderful. Oh, it only produced a scout. That's okay. I think I might have... They might have had a couple of scouts on rotation where some of it was... say one starport was producing carriers, the other starport was producing the other two starports were producing 2 scouts, something along those lines. Seems fair enough. But we're pretty much approaching the denouement now. Because we've demolished the vast majority of this Protoss base, the probe is going to have a pretty easy job of getting to where it needs to get to. But we're going to finish off the orange Protoss as well, or just keep damaging everything to the best extent that we can. Just make sure that they can't possibly fight back or interfere in any way whatsoever with that probe. That's almost adorable. Oh, Templar. Interesting. That Templar does have Storm. We saw that earlier, but obviously it's lost the will to fight at this point, I guess. I think if I were the Protoss, I'd have lost the will to fight at this point as well. This seems pretty overwhelming, what's happening here. now we finally managed to make it into the base, it looks like. Yep, this is one great big beatdown. There's a few things over here, but nothing that important. I'll take them out while I can. Apparently this Vespene refinery is still at full power, so again, just a indication that they weren't messing around when they gave these guys resources. Still only a minute and a half left until that Kidaran crystal is harvested, and I might as well kill these Reapers, because the last thing you want is to harvest the Kidaran crystal and then you're like, I won, and then a Reaver shot just comes out of nowhere and kills your drone. Like, well, that was a thing, I suppose. Archon running away. It's like, you're supposed to be an embodiment of fury, not of fear. Well, you're dead now, whatever happens. Yeah, a couple of things. I think the Mutalisks have made their point over this side anyway. And we are done, I believe. Here shouldn't be too hard to finish all this off. I'm not at 200 supply anymore. What? Build more stuff. It's not like I don't have a massive bank account looking there, according to it. Just 5,000 minerals and Vespene, you know, just a little bit going on there. Yeah, there you go, more Hydras. Don't know why I figure that Hydras are the way forward, but I just do. Now, there is a drone in there somewhere. There he is. You can see it's got a piece of the Kidaran crystal. Like, it took you 10 minutes to take that out, to get that. Well, back he goes to the beacon, and he shall have an escort. No, he won't. He doesn't actually need an escort, does he? Let's face it. He can get back there quite nicely on his own, and in the meantime, well, I don't think the Guardians are going to get there. So this was a fairly long-ass mission, guys. Really was. But I think overall it's been worth it. Just shown how you can badly mess things up at the start, definitely. But after that, we got through it. And get out of the way, Hydralisks. And this is going to be the beginning of the end for the Protoss, I believe, at this point. Because once the Kidaran crystal is ours, God knows what the Overmind is going to do with it. But I really don't think it's going to bode well for the Protoss at all. And let's drop it off.
Are under attack.
Cerebrate, the Kidaran crystals are in our possession. Now, all shall tremble before the might of the Swarm.
And that is that. Apparently it took 10 seconds after Dagoth was... after the Cerebrate did his thing, but never mind. Doesn't really matter. The Kidaran crystal is now in our possession, and we are going to use it to take over Aiur. You can see how many units I lost there. That was brutal. So much. So many units lost. But doesn't really matter, and I'll see you next time for the final Zerg mission.